Welcome, I'm Jamie Green, and on behalf of the Allen Motor Group, this is a third generation Ford Kuga. You're going to join me today to take an in-depth look at why this car is built with the future in mind. We're going to start with specifications. First up is the Z-Tech. It starts at £26,765. It comes with the 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3 and SatNav, cruise control with the speed limiter, selectable driving modes, pre-collision assist, parking sensors, and lane keep and depart assist. So it's pretty well spec'd from the off. So the range is the titanium, starting from £28,665. On top of the Z-Tech, this vehicle also has keyless entry, auto headlights, auto wipers, and an automatic dimming rear view mirror, the Bang & Olufsen sound system, and the digital dashboard that we found in the Puma. In lineup is the ST line. This starts from £30,465, and on top of what I've just told you, it includes the red brake calipers, front LED fog lights, a black headliner, red interior stitching, and a flat bottom steering wheel. Next up is the ST Line X. Starting from £31,565, on top of the ST Line X has bigger alloys at 19 inches, heated front and rear seats, as well as the openable panoramic roof. And finally, top dog of the Kuga range is the Vignale at £32,865. On top of the titanium edition that we have today, the Vignale features heated front and rear seats and the heated steering wheel with the Vignale styling pack. It comes with a lineup of 5 engines, the first being a 1.5 EcoBoost 150 PS 6-speed manual returning 42.2 mpg. The second is a 1.5 EcoBlue diesel with 120 PS, again with a 6-speed manual, returning 60.3 mpg. It can also be bought with the 8-speed automatic returning 53.3. The engine we have today is the 2-litre 190 8-speed auto all-wheel drive option returning 49.6 mpg. And now we move on to the more futuristic engine options. The two futuristic engine options is a 2-litre diesel mild hybrid returning 150 PS and 57.6 mpg, and then you have the 2.5-litre plug-in hybrid automatic returning 225 brake horsepower and 51.4 mpg. This engine can run 35 miles on electric only mode, and then it converts to a conventional hybrid, only using the engine when it absolutely needs to. As I mentioned a little earlier on, the car we're in today is the titanium edition, and it has the 8-speed automatic 2-litre EcoBlue diesel, and the realistic MPG I'm getting out of this car over the 390 miles that I've driven it is exactly 45 mpg, so not a massive amount off of what Ford claims, and that is across motorway driving and B-road driving, so it's a little bit of a mix of everything. And now let's talk about the styling of the third generation Kuga, and it follows a very similar principle to the new Focus. The cars themselves share the same chassis platform, with the Kuga simply sitting a bit taller and a bit chubbier, but not to say it's not a handsome car. The headlights are big and they flow up the bodywork, and the fog lights sit really nicely integrated in this front bumper. If we look around as well, you've got the big open mouth which follows Ford's current corporate branding. Now when we move from the headlights, you notice the car has one distinct line moving down the entirety of the car, making a very clean side. It's a lot less angular than the Generation 2 Kuga was. It's a lot smoother on the bodywork. And now we look at the back, and the rear lights on the Kuga, which again wrap around like the Focus. They are full LED from standard on the Z-Tech. If we look here, again, the Kuga name is blazoned on the back, following Ford's corporate branding. And the bumper on the titanium edition is absolutely glorious, with its black and grey plastic setup with the dual exhaust, giving that S the sporty feel in SUV. It is worth mentioning that on the ST line, these are body coloured. The last thing I want to draw your attention to on the rear is the LED fog lights. Look at the way they've been designed to sit in this little cave between the black bumper and the top arch. The 18-inch alloys on this titanium edition are as standard. They are absolutely beautiful in this magnetite grey and silver finish, and they just complete the look of the Kuga absolutely fantastically. Let's look at the interior on the Kuga, and first of all I'm going to look at these door sills, which have these lovely indents in and this lovely brushed metal effect which is supposed to reflect the titanium, and this continues through in plastic and metal throughout the interior, including up the electronic window controls. As we move inside, we've got part leather, part cloth seats which hug you in and are extremely comfortable with a very cushiony top headrest. Moving to the steering wheel, we have a very chunky leather steering wheel, as is normal with Fords, and looking in the centre console at the 8-inch touchscreen. Now when we move down to the middle, you'll notice that the gear selector is rotary. This is very, very simple to use and very, very effective, with the parking brake sat just behind. Center console, as before, with the 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3. We'll move down and show you the climate control setup, which on Ford, as usual, is very, very nice and very simplistic to use. Now, again, I'm going to bring your attention to the gear selector. Now, I'm going to pop it into drive to show you another party piece of this car. When I turn the ignition of the car off, you'll notice it automatically turns itself back to park. So if you forget to put the car in park, you can walk away knowing that the car is safely parked up and secured. Another thing you'll notice is that the steering wheel and cluster setup are set quite low down, meaning there is no obstruction from the driver's point of view of the road. Now, one thing to mention, this titanium edition I'm in today is a very early run of the Kuga and was produced as a 20 plate back earlier this year. As of October the 5th, 2020, all titanium editions will come with Ford's 12.3-inch digital cluster in the center console, just like we saw on the Puma earlier this month. The Ford Kuga's handling, well, it doesn't just share the chassis platform from the Focus, but it shares the steering column as well, meaning this car handles very much like Ford's mid-sized hatchback. That's not a bad thing from a large SUV because it means no body roll, flat cornering, and it also makes for extremely precise cornering, which in a car this size in the past hasn't been possible. But by combining this setup, it's a very easy, very pointy car when you turn the wheel. Alongside the precise steering, you've got a very comfortable, very smooth ride. The suspension irons out 95% of the bumps on the road, and combine this with the seats which hug you in as we showed you earlier, it makes for a very comfortable, very easy to drive car on longer journeys. Now let's talk about the automatic gearbox, 8-speed. It is seamlessly smooth. It changes gear without you even knowing. No jerking, no loss of power. The car just keeps moving. It's incredibly nice and just makes the driving experience of the Kuga that much better. On the interior is a selectable driving mode. So we can go into normal mode, which is good for everyday driving. Eco mode helps you get a bit more MPG when you're on those little shorter round town journeys. Sport mode sharpens up the throttle response ever so slightly and allows it to rev higher before it changes gears, meaning you get a bit more punch. You can go into slippery mode, which maximises your traction in extreme wet or extreme ice conditions. And finally, deep snow and sand for those really hard-going situations. Now, Ford's big SUV is obviously designed to be a practical car, and Ford have designed it with that in mind so it doesn't fall behind its baby brother, the Puma. First thing we're going to look at is the towing bar. Now, this one doesn't have it fitted, but you can have a dealer a £465 retractable towing bar fitted. This car has a towing capacity of 2.1 tonnes, which makes it ideal for towing small caravans. The cabin of the Kuga feels very open and very spacious, and one of the main features on this is the headroom. It's massive. I'm 6'2" and I've got the seat set middle way up, and I've got loads of room up here. I can actually move my head quite nicely. Another thing you want with a big SUV is interior storage, and the Kuga doesn't scrimp here. Each door has a big door card with the door pockets, and these move all the way back into here. As we look inside, you've got a net on the passenger side. You've got 2 pockets behind each of the passenger and driver's seat, and a large centre console with a movable armrest for added comfort. You have a phone size mat in the centre console as well, alongside 2 cup holders. And as we look into the centre dash, you can see that this car is also fitted with wireless charging capabilities. On the Kuga is no problem either, with 2 USB sockets, one in the front, one in the back, and 2 12-volt connectors, again, one in the back and one in the centre console. The Kuga's 8-inch touchscreen Sync 3 is also fitted with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. Talk about space in the back. The driver's seat at the minute is fitted to my driving position, and as I said earlier, I am 6 foot tall. I've got plenty of legroom here with plenty of room to move and stretch out as I need to, making the Kuga an exceptionally comfortable car. That's thanks to the extra 89mm of length this car has over the previous generation. Let's talk about the Kuga's party piece while I'm in the back. If you pull the lever under the seat, you can slide forward and back at will, and if it is slid forward, you can also use this lever and the recline function. How much more comfortable could you get? It also features a massive boot at 456 litres with the seats up and 1,603 litres with the seats down. As you can see, I've comfortably got 3 large holders in there with some space to spare. Unlike traditional cars, the seat recline isn't on a button. It's little handles inside the boot, just here. And if you come and see me now, you'll also notice that as standard on the Kuga, there is no boot lip, meaning that removing these cases is easy. What else do you need to know about 3rd generation Kuga? Well, let's go over the safety rating. Again, a solid 5 Euro NCAP stars, a 92% adult protection rating, 86% child protection rating, making it again just as safe as the Puma. The Kuga comes in a range of 8 colours. The one we have today is the absolutely beautiful Lucid Red, which fits with the alloys and the flow of the Titanium edition perfectly. Give a special mention to a feature you can order at a dealer on this car called the Driver Assistance Pack. Included in this pack for just £1,000, you get the adaptive cruise control with active speed limiter and traffic sign recognition, blind spot information system and active park assist, which on the automatics is 100% automatic with the steering, brake and throttle inputs. On the manual, you will have to input the throttle and brake inputs and change gear, but all the steering inputs for the parking is done by the car. It's worth mentioning as well that the plug-in hybrid has another option called a wall box, available for £798. What this does, it means if you plug the car into the wall box, you can fully charge it in 3.5 hours, opposed to 6 hours through conventional charging sockets. So there you have it, Ford's 3rd generation Kuga, with its eyes firmly set on the future with its hybrid engine lineup. If this is a car you think you'd be interested in and you'd like to get up close and personal, contact your local Allen Motor Group dealer for more information and to arrange a test drive. Till next time, goodbye.